Hello and thank you for joining us on Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. I am Mark Otabo. This week, President Bola Tinubu notifies National Assembly of possible military action against Nigerian coupists, lists other measures. Also this week, President Tinubu says more than 1 trillion naira saved since subsidy removal, approves buses for students' union government nationwide, rejects arbitrary increase of fees by federal schools. And later on the show, NLC threatens nationwide strike from August 14th over federal government's contempt charge. All the details in a moment. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, following the tense political situation in Niger Republic, President Bola Tinubu this week notified the National Assembly about ECOWAS' proposed military action and other sanctions against the military officers who seized power in the Niger Republic. Now, the sanctions include closure and monitoring of all land borders with Niger Republic and reactivating of the border drilling exercise, cutting off electricity supply to Niger Republic, preventing the operation of commercial and special flights into and from Niger Republic. Now, joining me in the studio to discuss this is Olufemi Lawson, Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability. Good to have you on the show today. Fantastic. And of course, we also have Honorable Shitu Kabir, a policy analyst and former presidential candidate, who is also joining us from Abuja. Honorable Shitu Kabir, good to have you on the show this evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, I think I'll begin. All right, good. I'll begin with you, Honorable, quickly before we move on to our next guest. Now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, 3 West African nations, have backed the coup leaders in Niger. Now, a move that poses a threat to regional stability. Now, do you foresee an escalation should the West African leaders go ahead to invade?
Thank you for this question. For us, as a country and as people, when it's happening, this what you call gugua, that is a movement like this is going on in your backyard. It is then you now look inward. For me, I believe that those who advise the Commander-in-Chief and Chairman of ECOWAS to even talk of taking the war into Nigeria are not being good advisor to Mr. President. Mr. President came in as one of the most popular democratic government. And when Nigerian matter happened, what we should do is to look at what are they asking for. Why the coup? What led to that? Yes, it's a coup. We all condemn undemocratic takeover of government all over the world. We condemn it. We are Democrat. I'm not a military, so it won't serve me if a military come. And we've seen in the 80s and 90s what happened to those that support military government. But the reality on ground is that these people have turned it to say that they are only fighting new colonialism, and they don't want to be at the capsize of any others. So what we should do as a country and as people, because every 3 Nigerians, you see one is a Nigeria. We are too tight, and Nigerians have been with us during our hard times, even during the war. You find out that all other Francophone countries, most of them they are not with us. And in fact, they are hostile to us. Look at Cameroon, look at other existing. This is the only country that have been stable, have been friendly, and be distant. So I think we should now look at why, and then profile a solution. In profiling solution, first, we look at, when I was chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council, we advised through IRI, International Republican Institute, and Democratic Institute, we brought about how political party will be involved in running the affair of the country through representations. What we are doing, where we are saying is that what is killing democracy in Africa is winners take all. And then legislatives that encourage corruption year in, year out. We have belief in democratic process. But
all right, Honorable, thank you very much. Olufemi Lawson, obviously, he's saying that what should have been done is get to understand the situation properly, the preferred solution. But what we are asking here now is 3 West African nations are saying, look, we are in support of what is happening here. And should there be a reason why the West African leaders go ahead to invade? What are you expecting to see?
I think first and foremost, it's important to correct the impression being spread around, including our Honorable Opondi's statement. President Tinubu is not declaring war on Niger.
Okay.
We have to get that right. And the records must be said. It is only coincidental that President Tinubu is the chairman of the ECOWAS of states at present, which is rotational. Whatever President Tinubu has requested to do is in line with the resolution of ECOWAS. Like I said, it's only coincidental that the president is the chair of ECOWAS as he sits. But it is not the decision of President Tinubu. At no time has the government of President Tinubu declared any war against Niger. President is only taking steps in line with the resolution of the ECOWAS, which Nigeria is statutorily obliged to. Absolutely. And it is important to also say that the military option that is becoming like the real issue around every other sanctions being placed on Niger now is even going to be the last resort, if at all it will ever happen. So for now, I think we should look more into other sanctions that have been placed on Niger by the ECOWAS and how these sanctions are being implemented. But like I said, the last option, according to the resolution of the ECOWAS, will be the use of force. And it is not even on the table. Okay. The president have only made that request, which he did a few days back, on the basis of that resolution. So Nigeria is not going to war with Niger. Okay. And Nigeria cannot take any singular action against Niger except in line with the resolution of ECOWAS. So for people who think, oh, Nigeria should not invade Nigeria, there's no war between Nigeria and Niger. Okay. Nigeria is only working in line with the resolutions of ECOWAS in the interest of safeguarding democracy in the region.
Okay, why you establish that? Now, obviously, it's no longer news that the Senate rejected the president's request to asking military to be deployed. Now, what's your reaction to that? Because obviously there is a bit of some kind of difference here. The Senate is saying, no, we can't afford to allow our military guys go out there to do anything right now. So what do you think is going to be happening from hence? Because obviously Nigeria seems to be like the big brother of Africa. And when something like that is happening, they expect to hear from us. So what's your reaction generally?
Of course, Nigeria will continue to play leadership role like it has always played in West Africa, most importantly, in the days of the Sierra Leone, Liberia, even in Gambia, and every other places. Nigeria have played this kind of role that the president is trying to play now. And the fact that this has gone to the National Assembly and is generating this kind of discourse, I think the president should also be commended. We were here a few years ago when President Yahya Jammeh of Gambia refused to leave power, having lost elections. And the president then, President Buhari, did not even approach the National Assembly before deploying over 200 soldiers to join the ECOWAS troops to go and send Yahya Jammeh out of the presidential villa in Gambia. That generated a lot of furor from the National Assembly and, of course, the citizens there. But now, President Tinubu has done what is only required by the law, making ahead requests in case that the resolution of the ECOWAS will get to the point where the last resort, the use of force as proposed, would happen. And it is also within the right of the Senate to either approve or reject such proposition. But I do hope that it will not even get to that stage at all, that ECOWAS will have to deploy the military to ensure that the restoration of democracy in Nigeria is achieved.